This is a poll from Radio New Zealand this morning, and it's basically neck and neck still. This is the RNZ-Reid Research poll. I'll give you the numbers. Deadlock in Parliament. Labor still narrowly ahead of National. It's 34.3 for Labor and 32.5 for National. To Pāti Māori would be key to the success of any potential Labor coalition or minority government. The Greens on 10.9, they have slipped. New Zealand First has dipped to 8.7 and ACT has edged up to 7.2. To Pāti Māori has taken the biggest knock though, sliding 1.4 points to 4.1%. So basically, she's neck and neck between the two major parties. The minnows are taking control of who would form the next government. And Chris Hipkins, crucially, in a week where his own MP has called a fellow Māori Party MP a racist, would need them to get into power. He's with us live next. Labor MP Willie Jackson has fired shots at Te Pāti Māori and their MP Takuta Ferris over his racially charged comments heading into the Tamaki Makaurau by-election. Posting on Facebook, Jackson called Ferris' views nonsense and in fact racist, although a new poll out this morning points to Labor needing the Māori Party to form the next government. Chris Hipkins is with me this morning. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Ryan.
Would there be room at the Cabinet table for Takuta Ferris?
My message to New Zealanders is pretty clear. If you want to get rid of this out-of-touch divisive government, give your party vote to Labor so that we can form a strong, unified government that will bring the country together. I've said that we'll set out which parties we could work with in that government much closer to the election.
You say the coalition is divisive. Is Takuta?
Yes, I've said last week very clearly I think that there's no place for that kind of sentiment in New Zealand politics.
Is there place for it in government? Is there place for it in a government you lead?
Absolutely not. That kind of sentiment has no place in government. I want to lead a government that brings New Zealanders together, not one that divides. I can understand why New Zealanders reading that, whether they're Pākehā, whether they're Māori, whether they're Pacifica, whether they're Indian, Chinese, will feel deeply hurt by that. The notion that there are some people who are more Kiwi than others is just wrong.
So if he remains a Māori Party MP, you're saying there's no room for that in a government you lead. What does that actually mean?
Well, the leadership of the Māori Party have made it very clear to me that he does not represent their views when he makes these kind of statements. That's really a matter for them. And I have said that closer to the election, we will set out which parties we could and couldn't work with. I've also said that if Takuta Ferris's sentiment reflects the views of the Māori Party, that would be very, very difficult for us to work with.
Does it worry you that they have, and what did they say to that?
They're well aware of my views. I'm going to leave it to them as a matter for that. They need to work through that. As far as I know, they haven't yet made any public comment about it. They've apologised in private. Now, really, it's over to them to do what they need to do.
Do you think it's a meaningful apology? I saw a stand-up at the airport on Friday with Takuta Ferris where he said he hasn't even heard from his co-leaders. So who are they apologising on behalf of?
I'm going to leave the internal politics of the Māori Party to them. I've made it very, very clear that what Takuta Ferris is saying is unacceptable. Okay. And, ultimately the leadership of the Māori Party, the ball really sits in their court now.
All right. Hey, Eden Park, where do you sit on this one? Do you think, because there's some neighbours, and to be fair, I think the Residents Association, most of them are in favour of loosening restrictions. Do you think it's time we just got on with this?
I think it would be great to see more events at Eden Park. It would be great to see more major events coming to New Zealand. Had the government not cut funding for major events last year, we might be a bit further ahead in attracting some of them. I think it's good that they've realised they made a mistake in cutting funding for major events. It's about time we got on and started attracting them back here to New Zealand again.
That major events fund, what's your plan for major events? Because this announcement from the government is only a one-off. I reckon they're probably going to go to the election with a bed tax, but that's just a personal view. What's Labor's plan for funding it? Would it be government funded? Would you look at a bed tax?
I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all model here. I think you need to consider each major event separately. When you look at the America's Cup, for example, we put direct government funding into the America's Cup, knowing that we were going to get more out of that from the huge benefits that flowed from hosting the America's Cup. I've said before, I have a great regret that we didn't manage to host the last America's Cup. I hope that in future we can get the America's Cup back here to New Zealand. Other events, there'll be other ways of funding it. It does need to be done in partnership with the Auckland Council, and we need to find ways of funding that sustainably.
Hey, Tom Phillips, there's talk about an inquiry. Do you think there needs to be a government inquiry?
There will be the usual inquiries. I know police will be doing their own internal reviews. The Independent Police Complaints Authority will be doing their own reviews. If the government wants to launch some other form of inquiry, I'm interested to see what the terms of reference of that would be. I certainly understand why New Zealanders are very interested in this case.
Are you interested to know more answers out of who, what, when, why with government departments beyond the usuals?
I think it's a very difficult situation. I think we have to respect that these kids need to be able to move on with their lives, and they've been under a lot of scrutiny. They did not choose this for themselves. This was chosen for them by somebody else. I hope that as a country we can let those kids now move on, reintegrate into society, and have a more normal life than the one that they've been living for the last few years.